Welcome back, audience, to another edition today. Well, I caught myself shaving. Man problems. Cheers. Anyway, hey, so in this video, I want to talk about that particular time fractal or a demon or belief system that's been happening. And it's a type of trickster demon. Let me talk about this. It's very tricky. It's very sneaky. First of all, let's talk about like direct experience of it. It is a type of feeling of, let me just make myself more pretty, of numbness, right? And it may be difficult to focus on. Like, I can focus on it because I know how it feels like, but it may be difficult to focus on because it's hiding. And it is masquerading as the feeling of peace, but it's actually numbness. Okay? It's actually laziness. It's not actual real peace. It is holding on to a lot of energy there. And it's a little bit like that. What the fuck is his name? My Precious character, It's not Gizmo Kaka, is because that's from Gremlins. But anyway, this it has a name. I just don't remember what his name is. You're probably screaming at me his name right now. Thanks, but I'm not hearing it yet. Okay, if I hear, I'll say it. Okay. Gollum, but I think it has another name. Okay. Yeah. So this thing is masquerading as numbness, but you can focus on it. It will try to pretend, and it will try to distract you because it does this thing. It always says like, "Hey, don't you need to do this thing right now? Don't you need to do this?" Like, it's always trying to distract you. But if you don't just get distracted, then you say like, "No, motherfucker, I'm placing my attention on you, and I'm not letting it go. You can try to trick me all you want, but I'm holding it there." And as you do this, you have no intention of waiting for it to end because there's just another trap. You're just holding your attention there. And it becomes a little bit more like soft and glowy feeling. And then it starts throwing these candies, basically. It's almost like hitting a piñata, and these really nice jolts of joy and enjoyment. The feelings of enjoyment. Just because you're looking at it and you're not looking away. Okay? It's like that golem that just hides its precious, which is a type of energy, your joy, and it doesn't want to let it go. Right? And then how does that manifest in your life? Very important. An illusion that you have no energy. Okay? A lot of people say that to me, and think like, oh, we're under reptilian attack. They're draining our energy, all that stuff. No. It's a spell. It's a trick. You do have energy because you probably slept enough. You probably, eat enough. You have energy. So there's not like that you lack energy. It's just that it's a spell that keeps telling you that you have no energy. This particular demon, this particular golem, is armed with all the tricks in the book, and this is usually one of the ones at the bottom level of hell, and this is why it has all sorts of tricks up its sleeve it's, like in a video game, you're approaching the boss, and the boss has, like, like some fire fucking weapon, and then it just has like a ability to avoid your attacks, and like really armed. And so that's what like this demon is like. It's freaking clever. So it's a trickster. And another thing I've noticed, when I place my attention there, it starts flipping between those four elements: pain, uh, poison, as I call it, pressure, confusion. It starts flipping between, and you don't know which one is, because it's all. And that means it's a good news, is because you are at the last level. That's just like the last kick of an ego. And then usually, if you don't go through this level, this is where people end up. If they end up staying, they get into this illusion of, they're still in the belief system in the matrix, but they consider themselves spiritual. They consider themselves at peace, but it's just laziness and numbness and passivity. Negative passivity. And this is what I've noticed. This is why I've always would recognize that sickly type of feeling in people like that who call themselves spiritual, because in the reason why now I understand is because they have not dealt with it completely, and so they may have taken some psychedelics which allow them to rid of like some minor demons, and uh, maybe they have faced some of them, but then that last one, which by the way masquerades as somebody who's enlightened one, right? This is why, like, uh there's no such thing as the enlightened one. And in my book, there are really good players of life. They do exist, you know and they're masters of consciousness itself, and then probably masters of some games within the game of consciousness. Master in the game of some master in the game of war, and master in the game of love. And so that, to me, these exist, and these are the people that I admire. And I know a few people like that, and nobody's ahead of anybody. Like, we are all on the cutting edge, so nobody can possibly be ahead. So this is why there's no sort of like a status thing, right? We're all dealing with the same demons in the same way, in the essence, right? And so that means that right now, at this particular time, you are pushing the envelope of life. And that is, to me, somebody who's a trailblazer, to me, is always my brother or my sister, you know. you know. And so that's real. People call it authentic. You can't even try to be authentic, because then you're going to be like an authentic fake. That also does not work. The authentic is just the person who, few people understand it. I know a few people do, that they just living at the edge. Their attention is always at the edge of where the action is at. They're always in this alchemical process. And then from there's like this theurgical process, and then from there's thaumaturgical process, and then physiological process, right? And whether you took the hero journey and you're going like this, or the heroine's journey, you're going like this, that's what's going on. Now, whether there is such thing as like you have arrived, or now you're a enlightened one and nothing you need to do, I don't buy this stuff, guys. I don't buy this stuff. Okay? This is not how I experience the reality, because then you would have to negate the fact that, yes, you could have somebody who's so good at it, right? Yeah, sure, you can have that, somebody so good at it, but it doesn't mean that they don't have to deal with this. They're just much better at dealing with this because of experience and whatnot, right? And so, yeah, so there are people like that. But the most that you can do is just get up to speed, right? And then the mystery is unfolding. And as long as you're leaning in towards that mystery, you are at the edge of life, and that's the most that you can be. And there's no, you know, above or below. You're just at the edge of life. But some people may be lagging behind, and so that is true. You know, it's not easy to live at the edge of life. I admit that. And some people may be lagging behind. Um, this is why I can't possibly be any kind of uh, authority uh, if I know for a fact that the most that I can do is just bring you to this edge of life, as I call it, and then that's it. Like, you are playing the same game as I do, but through your own aperture, through your own perspective. And so now I just have a team player, basically, right? You know, whatever you character, a role decided to play, you're playing it the best version of that. Whatever I decide to play, that there's no. You see what I'm trying to say? If I decided to play this type of role, then that's what I'm playing. And if you decide to play that role, that's what you're playing. So, am I making sense here? Okay. There is no pedestal. It's actually the opposite. It is a lowest rung. Life is happening at the lowest rung. That's when you're at the edge of life. Life is happening at the lowest rung. And a lot of you are going through this, and, you know, perhaps not knowing what the fuck is going on. Why do I feel so bad and so low and all that stuff? It's because of this alchemical process that you're going through. And if you do it right, you always receive a gem. And it's a gift to you to be able to overcome that particular demon, that particular challenge, in the best way you can. Okay? And it is totally doable, and that's the point of life. And like I said, if you're not running away from it and you place your attention there and you play with it, you can even do that while you're doing other things. Your attention always belongs there. Okay? It may be the habit that when you focus on something else, attention goes away on that thing. But as soon as your attention moves away from it and it goes onto that thing can do its evil deed. But if you don't, so you can do things in life. It's not like you sitting, and like this. No. Yes, sometimes it may get to the point where, like, oh shit, it just requires a lot of my attention right now. So, you still don't have to close your eyes. You don't have to sit in a particular position or anything like that. You just like, okay, whoo, this one's a biggie. Okay, like that. And you just handle the best way you can. If you need to open up, you open up. If you need to focus on it, you focus on it. But you're handling it, playing with it. Not letting it to be clever and slip through. And if you persist and if you stay there, it's gonna, like I said, it starts throwing these candy, as I call it, which is it's this type of like pleasant, joyful enjoyment feelings that just, some people feel like as a tingle or something, but that's what that demon is hiding, that these gems, these wonderful feelings, these rainbows and unicorns, as I call it, that is there, that's being hidden by that demon. Okay? Why is it so important? Man, it's everything, because then there is this enjoyment, there's this gusto for life that is genuine and real, and not you fighting with your own self and using willpower to get stuff done. Okay? That you're still fighting with yourself. And if you do this way, you're going to lack energy. So you're going to have to take it from somebody else. And it may manifest as you like trying to dominate somebody, right? Or take somebody else's confidence or take somebody else's innocence, because that's essentially the true currency of life is confidence and innocence, that stem from the source, which is, I call it, power and love, or truth and love, or whatever, right? So that's the real value. And so now those gems, those real feelings of confidence, the real confidence comes along, and then you start to see things clearly, and it's like, oh, okay, that's how the world works, and say, okay, because I can see it works now. I can have real success. I can accomplish something that my soul desires, and so that gives you this confidence, and you just go for it, and you imagine things, and then that pretty much where you leave it, and then it just somehow magically comes into physical reality, right? You treat the physical reality as a screen, as a monitor, as it is. There's still a degree of control that you have to do there, which are skills, and that's what is important. But um, but you see how it all works, right? And it should give you this sense of it is a game, and it is a game that I have plenty of energy for, and then everything's all right. There's no nihilism. There's none of these ideas that are like satisfying that demon of nihilism, that demon of trickster. And you have to watch this carefully. You can see it. Like some people just latch on this nihilism. I don't know how to snap them out of this trance, but they snap and it's like, oh, everything is meaningless. Like, and they have, look, I'm not making fun of them because I know that these ideas and these beliefs are tempting pacifiers when you are not facing that demon. Everything that I'm saying here is, I'm saying how not to do this. I'm not necessarily making fun of them in this particular case. Sometimes I do, but that's what the ego is for, is to make fun of, imitate the stupidity of it, right? But it's not like malicious, you see what I'm trying to say. By the way, if you ever wonder what the ego is for, it is humor, right? One of the secrets of comedy is to pretend that you do have ego. It's super fucking hilarious, you know? Uh, but anyway, come on, you can do it. All right, let's keep it going on the roll. But watch these people, these teachers, and they're sharing their ideas and stuff like that. Where it leads, what kind of quality it has behind it, and that part of them, that demon, they may not want to hear the real truth because they would need to let go of this belief that nothing is real, or nothing actually exists. That this is, you see what I'm trying to say? Like, it takes away the value of this holographic projection, and it is gold itself. It is, because when you touch it directly, every single pixel, every single thing is it's erotic. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay, it's not necessarily sexual, but it's erotic. I'm just using that word eros to actually communicate what it is. Sometimes I say that it does feel like you are making love, just moving through the world. Another word of saying it is erotic. It doesn't mean that like you are like a creep about it or anything like that. No, but it just simply means that the enjoyment is at such a deep level of you just moving through the world that it does feel like you're making love. Okay? Okay, I just wanted to say this. And I'm saying this particular state is It's not sexual. It's not sexual, right? It's just like deeply enjoyable. You can call it sexual, but that would not be it. It's erotic. I separate those two. So you can eat something, right? Like for example, this pineapple, and have like an explosion of being very close to taste. It has that blissful quality to it. See, it was delicious, but I'm not hungry. So anyway, okay. So yeah, you should live life like you're microdosing LSD all the time, and it happens if you release those gems from that demon that is holding them down. Okay, because at each level where you are, right? If you keep on going, everything's gonna be all right. But if you settle there, then the thoughts gonna start arising from that level of that demon, and it's gonna. Don't believe that shit. Don't go. Don't latch on to this. Like keep going. Keep going until there is a direct experience of life. Then, if the insight comes along, because now you're doing it from the wholeness, then you share it. Look, and I don't always do that either. Sometimes, like, I don't know, did I don't know if I ever made a video like that where I later thought, like, oh, that was not the complete truth. Of course, there probably was, where I was not in a like a right state, and perhaps I was like, but I don't remember one. Anyway, I just don't want to be like a false modest here. If there might be, I'm just saying that in my life there wasn't that, like, I was not in a state of consciousness creating thoughts and from this belief system where I'm at, and getting caught into this and thinking that, like, that's how reality works. There was a moment, but then immediately just go like, oh, no, 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 I remember, I don't want to look at this direction, I want to look at that direction. That's another way of saying, like, this, you're focusing on the evil. And so if you move energy this way, it's going to create something that is evil. And it might be even the idea that you want to share with other people. And you think, like, oh, this is how reality works. Well, the question is, like, how do you feel? If you're, like, miserable and lazy and, like, like, nihilistic, and you're sharing this idea from the state of nihilism, then of course it's going to be something that everything is meaningless and nothing really exists, and there is no you, or whatever these non-dual beliefs that people latch onto. It's still a fucking belief. It's just another pacifier, you see. So life is either you're going to be like pacifying yourself with these thoughts, with the ideas and beliefs, or you're going to keep on going. If you keep on going, there's going to be insights, and it's different from a belief. An insight is different. An insight doesn't have an opposite. Okay? So this is why, like, if you live a life at the edge, you're alienating everybody's beliefs. And if you have a friend, or friend, who doesn't want to let that belief go, then all right, then maybe see you later. But okay, keep on sucking on that pacifier right now. You see that it's a pacifier. It's not that you're like a superior or anything like this, but you're just not succumbing to that belief system. You keep going because you want to be at the edge of life. Okay. And the way I see it, unless you keep on playing the game of life, that throne can be taken away from you very quickly. So there isn't that you're like arrived and you're there. You gotta keep playing the game of life. This is why I don't subscribe to this idea that like, well, we're gonna transcend and leave this earth because this is a prison, and then, oh, we're gonna escape the prison, and that's no, that is a coward's way out. You came here to play this game of life, and you play it. You play it, and you stay close to the fire and you stay close to the edge. That's the safest place. But the mind is the scariest place to be to leaning against the mystery and against the unknown. But that's actually the safest place. And that to speak in a normal terms is like where you're placing the attention. Are you leaning against that thing where it's supposed to be classed as negative by the mind, and you can see that, oh, it's not negative at all, and nice awesome stuff is coming out of it. That's your energy there. And this is where the inspiration comes from spirit. But if there's like external pressures that you have to go and do stuff, because drop all of that stuff. There you do essential things that you have to do, of course. You don't negate life. But that's how you play better. You stop doing the things that are a distraction. I'm talking to myself here, of course. And then it may masquerade as something like, oh, you're doing something, but it's not really the problem that you need to be resolving right now, and that's not the closest thing. There's not the closest problem in your life. That's not a next problem that you got to resolve. You're focusing on something somewhere like further away that is not in a priority line for you right now. And that is one of the ways that this demon tricks you. And there's an illusion that you're progressing and that you made some progress, but it's nothing to do with your life. See, again, I'm speaking from experience because I've been practicing this nonsense myself. Now, this thing that I may have been like avoiding, not may, I was. It's just the principles that I just, as after alchemizing it, I had this realization, and the realization was, okay, solve the problem that is the nearest you. That's the first problem you got to resolve. You see, don't think about some potential problems or like that is not your problems and all that stuff. You cater everything in your sphere first. Right here, right now, in this particular moment, what is the nearest thing? And if somebody comes up to you and talks to you about something, that's the nearest problem. You see that it is right here, right now. Whatever you need to address, that's what you address. This is why, like, watching the videos, even though I do, but I don't want to, about like somebody else's problem that is not your sphere of influence, right? And that is a way of uh, postponing the energy onto something else, or excuse me, not postponing is not the right word. It is anyway. I see that I have to wrap it up. My phone is telling me that I have to stop. Okay, so then I will stop. Okay, so I'm just gonna wrap it up by saying this particular demon is shape shifting and is a trickster. You gotta keep on it to see it. And there are a lot of illusions is gonna go away. The people were talking about like a Jim Carrey thing and now making it up. You will see how, just because it's a conspiracy theory, it doesn't mean it's a truth. There's some of them that just go pushing way too far and into the world of illusion. But you see it clearly if you alchemize it, this demon. Okay. So anyway, good luck, good riddance, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.